Hi folks, it's that time of the week again. Welcome to Dow's Weekly Digest. You know, June's a real good month for road trips. And so I'd like you to think about that as a theme today, the road trip. But in particular, what moments in those road trips that you've taken come to define that road trip itself. A good traveler knows that the journey is just as important as the destination. That journey is just as important as the destination. Before we jump into that, though, let's, of course, look at what? Some cowboy wisdom. Some cowboy wisdom that we have here. What do we have for today? A wink is as good as a nod to a blind mule. Behind every successful rancher is a wife who works in town. Here's one. Never hire the people you drink with. It's some good old boy. Sometimes that friendship is too much when you go ahead and hire them. So there's some cowboy wisdom there. Just a little cherry on top. Here's one bit of South Dakota trivia. Again, maybe that road trip will bring you out here to South Dakota. Hope it does. Stop by. But here's South Dakota trivia. Did you know, I didn't, that Babe Ruth played baseball in Deadwood, South Dakota? Now, it was an exhibition game, 1922. Babe was out here. The lore was that he was partaking in some beverages as he was doing the exhibition game. And every time that he got up to bat, he hit a foul ball. Not one was in the infield there. So he struck out or he walked himself. So a little bit of South Dakota trivia there that maybe you did not know of at all. You know, I'm speaking of the theme today of traveling. And of course, I can't start without saying, well, what's the good book? What's the Bible say about that? Here's one, Psalm 19, verse 105. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. And if you've been in the Black Hills at night and you're going down a path, it does you no good to maybe shine it way out there. You need to what? Put it close to you, down by your feet, close to you. The Word of God, what? Close to you. Here's another one. Then he said to them, go into all the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole creation. All the world, because all the world is welcome. Indeed, some real good things. Like I say, what? The Bible, that's the book for me. It was in the 1950s. Sergeant Major Bartling was already in Germany, Baden-Baden, Germany. And the family was coming over there. So I was coming over with my adopted mother, Doris. And the way that we left New York was on ship. But this was not any ordinary ship. This was the SS United States. Do you know what SS stands for when you hear that in front of a ship? That's steam powered. It's a steam ship, SS. So the SS United States, a cruise ship, we were leaving on from New York to England. And not only was it a fantastic cruise ship, they were setting a record. So they left from New York City to England, and they did it in 3 days, 10 hours, and 41 minutes. They broke the record, folks, by 10 hours. I said a road trip, a lot of times we look at, and even the ones you're reflected upon, are on certain moments that kind of highlights it. And so some defining moments that I picked out was the planning, the vehicle, the departure itself, and the inspiration that you gained from it. First one I said, planning. What comes to mind in some of my road trips was going really to the same country. That's the country of Panama. 2, maybe 3 years ago now, LaDonna and I started to do the planning and we did a mission trip. We took a group from our church, 12. So the 12, we took to Panama to do a mission trip. And then LaDonna and I had been to Panama maybe 5 times prior to this. And so, and having family there, we did know a little bit about the culture. And so in the planning process, it was letting them know of the needs that we thought we were going to do as missionaries, short-term missionaries, and letting them know kind of in regards to the culture, how they might react to it or not react to it, and that might be perfectly okay. One particular mission work that we were doing some painting. One of the people says, this is just taking too long. Why don't we go down to some place like Home Depot and we can buy or rent a sprayer and spray the walls? Well, later the pastor kind of explained to us that, the relationship that's gained when you're standing side by side slopping paint with each other, you gain a whole lot from that. And the time saved, yes, of going and get the sprayer isn't as much as the culture that they love in regards to the relationship that's gained by doing her side by side. And there was a lot to be gained from that. And I think the group that went learned something from that. But again, in our viewpoint, maybe of our Americanized way, and I say ours because, man, as American as red, white, and blue, folks. Even though I'm born in Panama and I love Panama, I am Americanized. So the planning and the whole panoramic view of planning there. Another was a planning that didn't take place. This was to go to Panama to a wedding, family. Get all the way there, get the bags packed, get the first organization called to pick us up at our home, to take us there, the Uber type driver. Get there, get in line, go on up. They go and they zip the passport, and it doesn't work, and they zip it again, and they say, the Bartling party, please come forward, please. And they said, in the country of Panama, you have to have a passport that isn't going to expire in, I think it was like maybe 12 months. And one of the passports was going to expire in less than 12 months. And we said, well, we're going to spend the week and we're going to see family, we're going to come back. He said, I'm sorry, we can't let you out because they won't let you in. A little lack of planning there. A road trip that didn't take place. How about the vehicle? I said vehicle. One little quick thing there was 50 years ago, in the month of August, LaDonna and I got married. And we didn't have a dance. We got married in the afternoon, had a reception, and that very same day, we got in my 65 Mustang. It was black, midnight black, and at the bottom had red racing stripes. Oh, folks, it was cherry. It was cherry. And chrome wheels, my goodness sake. Well, they decorated it with shaving cream and you name it. So the first thing we do is we go, and when it's over, okay, we go and we first go around the block. I take those cans, whatever it is, off, and we go right to the car wash. Get that baby washed up. And we're on our way to the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs. Next day, we made it to the Broadmoor. Beautiful, beautiful place, folks. And this was 50 years ago. Well, we looked on the map, and the map said that a place I wanted to go to, called Cripple Creek, was just over what I called a hill. Now we're around Pikes Peak, Colorado Springs. My poor little Mustang, we went higher and higher and higher, and we run out of blacktop and we're on gravel. We saw some of the most beautiful scenery, and we did make it to Cripple Creek, but we didn't take that route back. The vehicle. How about departure or let's call it maybe protocol. I had the opportunity to represent the United States government and the state of South Dakota as a goodwill ambassador for South Dakota to a country in South America, and it's called Suriname. But the departure was like at 7 in the morning, and we didn't get out there to the country of South America till 4 a.m. the next morning. And the protocol that getting ready for the departure, and then we would almost like have to take a class to get ourselves ready in regards to letting it be known. You represent the United States government and you represent the state of South Dakota. And here's some ways that you will act and some ways that you won't. And you're going to have the opportunity to meet at a dinner and speak to the president of the country of Suriname. So, man, just getting ready for that departure was quite a little bit of a ordeal. But it's a road trip that indeed I remember those moments. Inspiration was a defining moment I listed as far road trips go. In June, 16 years ago, our country was being reverent, observing our President Reagan's funeral. And it was on that day that I was advised a detective I had hired had found our birth family. When we went to Panama for the very first time to meet my family, when we arrived at the airport, folks, and getting our luggage, and we going out to kind of where the public goes, and we kind of go to this corner, and we look down the hallway, and we could see a bunch of people, and they had signs, and they had balloons, and they had all kinds of things, and they were yelling and everything. And I looked back at Justin, and I says, gosh, I wonder who they're waiting for. Who's that celebrity? And he kind of says, kind of grunts a little bit. And we're walking down, taking our luggage with, and we get down close, and it was for Eduardo. It was for us. That was the whole family. I swear, people, there must have been 50 to 75 people there. And they were there, and of course they'd be hugging and stuff, and only every fourth person spoke English. The rest were rattling on in Spanish. And then all of a sudden everybody was quiet, and it was like it parted the Red Sea, because everyone went apart, and then up walks my little mother, Lillian. What a road trip, folks. What a road trip. My family took me to an old mission where the Spanish conquistadors were. And in there, kind of in the plaza, folks, was one of the biggest trees I saw. It wasn't that it was tall, but it was just broad. And I asked later, and they called that the tree of Panama. That was an inspiration for me, folks. And in fact, you can find my story in Chicken Soup for the Soul, Adopted Soul, or passiton.com. You could say Trees of Panama, and my whole story would be in there. But that was a road trip that was inspirational, that no other one compares to. You know, folks, we here at Financial Markets, we can help you with your clients and their financial road trip. You know, by taking advantage of one of our premier carriers, and that premier carrier today that I'm going to speak of is North American. This particular tool that they have, Sales Solutions Roadmap from North American. So we can customize that journey, which is just important as what? The destination. We can surely do that. The planning. We have that in that tool. Okay. How about the vehicle? Okay. Again, your internal wholesaler can help you discover maybe what the right vehicle would be, what the right product would be, and taking that journey to get to that destination. And again, the array of products that they have, folks, par excellence. From maybe it's on the annuity. They have a 3-year annuity now that's paying what? 2.4%. 2.4%. I just checked Today, a 3-year CD, 1.3. 1.3. 2.4, 1.3. Looks like that 3-year annuity with North American gets better mileage, folks. Gets better mileage on that journey there. Life insurance, no lapse, guaranteed universal life. Not if I die within this time period, but when I die, I know it's going to be delivered to my clients. And riders that can be added on possible events, life events that happen on that journey, whether it be disability or maybe a chronic illness. They would have that rider available to you there. Again, customization. So I said planning and I said vehicle. That brings us to departure. We're here from the infancy stage all the way to your final destination. Maybe that's in the form of helping discover and build that illustration for you, or to show you how to do that illustration itself. And in the climate that we're currently in these first 6 months here, folks, of 2020, that e-application is so more important than ever. And e-delivery that could be made there, along with the medical requirements that may or may not be needed. And I say may or may not because with the e-application, there can be the process through accelerated underwriting, but they're not going to need medical requirements at all. The sales solution roadmap. Inspiration. That's the delivery of the policy. What was the last policy you delivered? Now let me ask, what was the last death claim that you delivered? That's what brings us here, folks. That's the inspiration there. You know, not what it is, but what it does. And more importantly, you know, who's it for? Take the time to explain the policy and explain what the writers do. Who's it for? Then they'll come to very much be thankful that they came to you to help navigate that journey. You know, yes, as I said, a good traveler knows that the journey is just as important as the destination. And you using what? North American's roadmap. Let me just real fast here, just pull one out here. This one says college funding. And it's got here what the client profile might look like. It gives suggestions of policies that could be looked at. It talks about key selling points itself, and it brings out illustration design tips. Look at that. It's helping us then navigate all the way through there, folks. Like I said, they really put together a real nice tool here. Be sure to contact your internal wholesaler and ask them about that to make you the navigator so they can get to their financial destination. Well, we now come to the session called the recommendations session, folks. What have I got to recommend here for you? On the book side, you grown-ups, I would highly recommend you get this book and share it with a young person. I Am Paddle to the Sea. I Am Paddle to the Sea. Now get this author's name. Holing, middle initial C, Holing. His first name, now this may be just his pen name too, because sometimes authors made up names. But his pen name, the author, is Holing C. Holing. Which, see, I don't forget that. But it is I Am Paddle to the Sea. So that's a road trip that I very much enjoyed. I Am Paddle to the Sea. And the way things are today, you can Google it. And if you Google it, there can be kind of I guess they made a movie out of it too. But you can kind of get a animation short little thing about the beginning of the story itself. But I think it's an excellent book, and it draws in your imagination, and it's great. So that's the book. Okay. How about the song? It's The Long and Winding Road by the Beatles. It was in their Let It Be album. So The Long and Winding Road by the Beatles. That's the song that I would recommend. And the poem would be by Robert Frost. Robert Frost on the poem, The Road Not Taken. The Road Not Taken. And what about movie? Again, the theme was what? Road trip. Well, it's National Lampoon Vacation. Talk about a road trip. The Griswolds, huh? You gotta love Uncle Eddie. Huh? Uncle Eddie. I mean, real tomato ketchup, Eddie? And how about Eddie? What? He gives Clark those white shoes, those patent leather shoes. And he said, well, Clark, I knew you was looking at them, that you liked them, and I want you to have them. And Clark says, what, Eddie, you really shouldn't have. You really shouldn't have. But yeah, National Lampoon's Vacation. Talk about a road trip. And then what, the moose should have told you out front. You don't get tired of that one, folks. The video I have for you today comes, you can imagine, from North America. And they are featuring, maybe focusing, if you will, on part of their roadmap, pension maximization. So that's the destination, pension maximization. And they are, through the video, explaining that. Now, how many may be interested in that particular journey? The roadmaps gives a suggestion that clientele could maybe be the age 55 to 65. They may be interested in you educating them on pension maximization.
If you participate in a defined benefit pension plan, are married, or have a domestic partner and nearing retirement, you have some important decisions to make. When you retire, you'll likely have the choice between the life-only or joint and survivor pension benefits. The life-only benefit provides a higher benefit payment, but the benefits end when you pass away, leaving nothing for your surviving partner. The joint and survivor benefit ensures that pension benefits continue for your partner, but the benefit payments are reduced. A pension maximization strategy using life insurance can provide a compromise between these options. Let's look at a hypothetical example to see how this strategy works. A man and his wife are in their early 60s, and he plans to retire in 3 years. He learns that the life-only option from his pension plan will provide $5,000 per month, and the joint and survivor option will provide $3,500 per month. He wants to maximize the retirement income, but also wants to help ensure his spouse's financial protection. He decides to select the life-only option. He uses some of the additional $1,500 monthly benefit under this option to purchase a permanent, guaranteed death benefit life insurance policy. The life insurance death benefit will be paid to his wife upon his death. The death benefit amount is intended to develop sufficient income to match the amount his wife would have received if he had selected the joint and survivor option. In his particular situation, he purchases a $755,000 death benefit at a cost of $1,245 per month. The difference between his additional benefit and the insurance premium is $255. He comes out $255 a month ahead with the life-only option, and still provides a death benefit for his spouse. There are also some important things to consider before you purchase a life insurance policy. It's important to explore your options and create a clear picture of your needs. Contact your North American representative to develop a pension maximization strategy and decide which approach is right for you and your beneficiaries.
Didn't I tell you that was a good video? Very good video. And very germane for the way things are, folks. And remember what? Who was the who of it? Who was it for? Notice all the way through there, you saw a couple. You saw a couple. It was for her. It was for her. That is the who is. Don't let your potential clients forget not what is it doing, but who is it for. Who is it for? Well, let me add to this. GP for you equals G, folks. Ha. You give me 50% of the mnemonic here on what it is. And you take a road trip on out here, folks. La Donna and I will fix you a barbecue. Yes, we will. You come to our place and we'll fix you a barbecue. Hey, even bring your internal wholesaler. I don't care. We'll have maybe plantains, or maybe we'll have chislic. We've got all kinds of ideas that we could be doing, folks. GP for U equals G. This first G is what? God. God's. G-O-D apostrophe S. God's. P for U equals G exclamation point. Boy, I'd love to be able to be doing some barbecuing, folks. So let me know on that. And remember, blessed are those who ease the pain of misfortune, for they should be called insurance agents. Everyone have a good week.